You're listening to The Bountiful Yogi, a podcast where soul meets practice and where we explore what it means to live, lead, and love from a place of deep alignment. I'm Heather, and I created this space as part of See Life as a Muse, a platform for storytelling, healing, and embodiment for people who feel deeply and are doing their best to live with intention. Whether you're a seeker, a healer, a teacher, a creative, or someone simply navigating the world with an open heart, I'm so glad you're here. However you got here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. It means the world to me that you're here. These episodes are meant to be short and digestible, little pockets of perspective. And if you feel inclined, you can read the blog that inspired today's episode at seelifeasamuse.com or on Substack. Let's take a breath together and begin. This episode is part of our series From Hustle to Holistic, a journey back to rhythm, rest, and what's real. Today's episode is deeply personal. I want to talk about what it's like to live, create, and teach from a place that doesn't always fit the world's structure. What it means to be a healer, yogi, educator, and artist living with ADHD and also dyslexia. Because this isn't just a conversation about neurodivergence, it's a reflection on presence, on how we learn to stop performing for approval and start practicing self-trust. It's about choosing alignment over hustle, even when it's messy. So, if you've ever felt like your mind moves to a rhythm the world doesn't understand, if you've felt the pressure to be more polished, more organized, more together, you're not alone. You belong here. Let's take a breath together and begin. The myth of the still healer. There's a quiet pressure in wellness spaces that the best healers are serene, organized, always composed. That we live by planners, meditate for hours, and have homes that smell like sage and look like Pinterest boards. That's not me. ADHD doesn't appear to be laziness or distraction. It looks like hyperfocus at 2 a.m. Like forgetting appointments but remembering a student's energetic shift from months ago. Like starting 4 projects, getting lost in a song lyric, and reorganizing my paints in the middle of writing this script. I don't show up perfect. I show up present. And honestly, that's more healing than perfection ever could be. But that presence took years of practice. It took learning how to drop in, to shift gears and focus, to be fully in the room, even when my brain wants to be everywhere else. Learning to hold space for others started with learning how to hold space for myself. Yoga without a script. I don't plan my yoga classes in advance anymore. Instead, I walk into the room, feel the energy, and let the class shape itself. This wasn't always the case. I used to prep everything, sequences, playlists, talking points, because I thought that's what a real teacher did. But over time, I realized something. My strength isn't in performance, it's in presence. ADHD taught me how to pay attention to nuance, energy, breath, unspoken cues. Yoga gave me the tools to trust that awareness, to listen inward and teach from that place. I'm not winging it. I'm listening. I'm responding. And that's its own kind of wisdom. Dance is a different story. Now, dance class, that's a different kind of challenge. I do have to prep, choreographing routines, picking music, practicing the steps. And that's where my ADHD gets loud. I get caught up in the beat and lose count. My body starts following the emotion of the song, not the rhythm. I'll drift into a lyric and completely forget what comes next. I used to fight that. I'd push harder, rehearse longer, drill until I got it right. But that only made it worse. What helped was authenticity. Now we laugh when I mess up. We play with the rhythm. We lean into joy instead of perfection. The class isn't about flawless performance anymore. It's about connection, creativity, and presence. Art in all directions. Being an artist with ADHD feels like living in a constant swirl of color and static. Ideas come fast, loud, alive, brilliant, and I chase them like fireflies. And just like fireflies, I can't catch them all. I start each one with excitement and wonder, but finishing? That's harder. I used to sell meditation jewelry, artwork. I loved the creation part, but the business side drained me. Tracking expenses, meeting deadlines, repeating designs. I was turning my medicine into a hustle. So I made a conscious choice. I closed my shop. I returned to creating just for me, spontaneously, soulfully, with no pressure to produce on demand. Now, when the inspiration flows, I follow it, not for profit, for presence. Writing between the lines. Despite being dyslexic and ADHD brained, writing has always been my sanctuary. I've always been a storyteller, a writer. It's how I escape, it's how I connect. Even as a child, before I understood dyslexia, I knew I could make people feel something through words. I've won awards for poetry, short stories, even plays, not because they were perfectly spelled or structured, but because they were filled with how I saw the world or how I wanted to see the world. Now I write to plant a seed or to allow to inspire and to build community. I write better than I speak because my thoughts travel faster than the spoken word. The words don't get tangled, they dance, they breathe. Yes, I use spell check and tools now, but there's nothing like putting pen to paper and just letting it flow. Even when it's messy, writing is my favorite form of art, not because it's polished, but because it's real. It brings me home to myself. And that's a big part of why blogging is so sacred to me. It's where I get to process, to express, and to offer something true to the world. The gift of divergence. Living with ADHD and dyslexia has taught me to drop perfectionism and embrace presence, to work with the rhythm of my mind, not against it, to know that the way I do things might be unconventional, but they're still sacred. Yes, I forget things. I miss steps. I mess up counts. Sometimes I misspell. Sometimes I stumble. But I also see the world with texture. I notice what others miss. I feel things deeply. I show up honestly. I don't create beauty despite my differences. I create beauty because of them. Divergence isn't a flaw, it's a frequency. And when I tune into it, I remember I belong to something ancient and wise. But here's the thing, because of these differences, nothing comes easy. When people say, I seem so present at events or prepared when I teach, what they don't always know is that I've worked so hard to be here. Every moment of presence has been earned through layers of self-trust, self-regulation, and practice, which is why this From Hustle to Holistic series is so personal for me. Because I had to stop the hustle. It was a huge financial shift, but it gave me my life back. I had to find a new rhythm that actually supported the way I move through the world. Not in spite of my neurodivergence, but in honor of it. Let's close today with a moment to let truth settle into your body. Find a comfortable seat, in a chair, on the floor, wherever it's right for you. Take a few breaths here before we begin. Let's begin. You don't have to do anything perfectly here. Just listen and let the words meet you where you are. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze. Rest your hands somewhere comfortable, maybe over your heart, your belly, or palms open on your lap. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders drop. I'll speak a series of affirmations. You can say them silently in your mind, whisper them, or speak them aloud. I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to move at my own pace. I am not behind. I am not broken. I am a whole person exactly as I am. My presence is my gift. My way of being is valid. My rhythm is my own. I create beauty because of who I am, not in spite of it. Let one of those phrases linger with you. Carry it into the rest of your day as a quiet anchor. When you're ready, take one more deep breath in and a soft, slow breath out. Open your eyes or lift your gaze. Return to the present slowly and mindfully. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear how it lands. You can find me and the full community over at Sea Life as a Muse on Substack, Blue Sky, and Discord. That's where I share weekly reflections, voice notes, meditations, and behind-the-scenes thoughts on this journey of healing and alignment. You can also read the blog that inspired this episode and explore more ways to engage with this work at sealifeasamuse.com or Substack. The link is in the description. This podcast is part of that living library, rooted in story, shaped by practice, and led by heart. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Until next time, stay bountiful. And always see life as a muse.